I was a 12-year-old boy who loved Pokemon all day. That's what I would play. When I came home from school, I would just skip all the homework and just play Pokemon. I played all the Pokemon games. Every new game that came out, I would get it. Every yard sale I saw, I would look for any single Pokemon I saw. Even the hack ones. Like, once I found a hacked called Pokemon Purple and Pokemon Orange, but none was like the next one I found. It was a Pokemon game with a Game Boy design, but its label was just like the new Pokemon Black that came out, so I bought it. The game was only $10. I assumed it was just some Game Boy version of Pokemon Black. At the time I had a DS Lite, so I could play Game Boy games too. The new Pokemon Black game was too much money, so I was pretty happy once I got the Game Boy game for it. As soon as I got home, I picked up my DS Lite, which was fully charged, and put in the game. As soon as I put it in, my DS goes dead. That was odd since I just had it on the charger for about 4 hours while I was away. I had no brothers or sisters and no one was home. I thought maybe my charger didn't work, so I plugged my DS in and played it while still on the charger. It wouldn't turn on, so I waited about 7 hours and then I unplugged it. I was able to play it. The title screen showed the Pokemon Black label just like the new one that came out. There's already a saved file. I wasn't patient at the time, so I didn't bother to look at it. I tried starting a new one, but it wouldn't let me. There was no option. So I continued the save file. The player's name was Zoo. I checked his player card. Time played 0 minutes, 0 seconds. Money 0. He had all the badges. I checked all of his Pokemon. He only had 2 Pokemon. A Haunter and an Unknown. The Unknown's letter was a U. It wasn't the DS version of Pokemon Black though. I was pretty upset about that. But the player, where he was, is when you meet Lance in the Elite Four. But Lance wasn't there. The Haunter somehow knew Fly. I found that weird and assumed that the player just hacked the game that teaches Pokemon any move. I could fly inside the building somehow, but the only place he could fly was Lavender Town. So that's where I flew. Everything seemed to be normal, except the music of Lavender Town seemed to be distorted in reverse. There was also more graves than usual and less NPCs. Everyone I talked to seemed to just say, "Who are you?" or "Don't talk to me." Everyone seemed to be rude and have an angry look on their face. If I talked to it again, it would launch me in battle. My Haunter had 2 moves, Fly and Scary Look. What's weird about the battle is, instead of showing the NPCs Pokemon, it just showed them. And it said, John used Tackle. It hit my Haunter. My Haunter used Fly against John. And it said, John has died. Not even fainted, just died. When I battled the next NPC, Sarah, my Haunter used Mean Look. It said, Sarah is paralyzed. And then, Sarah has died. Then I would hear Haunters cry. I traveled to other towns, but everyone I talked to, they would say, "I know what you did." Then they would battle me. tried switching to unknown, but it wouldn't let me. It would skip my turn then. So I let the NPC fate my haunter so I could switch to the unknown. Unknown's only move was Perish Song. I used that. A haunter fainted and it switched again to haunter. A text box showed up and said, "You can't get rid of me," in all caps. Then haunter died. I threw out another haunter. Then my other hunter died again. I threw out another Pokemon automatically, but it was my character. But instead of the name Zul, it had my real name. My only move was Struggle. I used Struggle until the NPC died off. Then my player died. My DS turned off. It was dead. I tried charging it until the next day. I woke up and unplugged the DS. But as soon as I took it off the charger, my charger burst into flames. I stopped the fire just in time before it was able to spread. But when I turned back on the DS, it was the normal fire red. I found that kinda ironic. The save file was deleted and I was able to make a new game. Then I was able to play normally until I got the Lance. He still wasn't there. I had all my Pokemon, but then I got launched into battle. It was a level 100. The battle was engaged by a level 100 Haunter, just like the one the other player had. I had defeated it, but instead of fainting or dying, it said nothing. Just a new Pokemon showed up. It was the unknown. I also defeated that one. Now Lance showed up, but he was only half a sprite. One arm, one leg, and one arm, and one eye. He also looked paler and sadder. But when I fought him, all of my Pokemon were gone. I had a Haunter and an Unknown, just like Zul. Lance's Pokemon were also half a sprite, but they were all crying blood. Whenever I fainted one of his Pokemon, it would say they died. Then for about 20 seconds, it would show a picture of a pool of blood next to the Pokemon. Finally, I defeated Lance. Going through all the pain I went through seeing, I was relieved when I beat him. Maybe I could play normally. But the game just stood there. He said nothing. The last things he said was, "You could have stopped all of this." Then his Pokemon spun upwards, and my character spun downwards. I was in a fire. It showed my character burning with his face as a skeleton, and everything was just burning. The game froze. I told my parents about it, and they went to see for themselves. I turned it back on, it was just like when I got it, except it said my real name instead of Zul. I was in the same spot and had the same Pokemon. Except my player card was red with his neck snapped.